Good morning, everybody. You're all very welcome today. We're joined by Alan Boyle. He's the Centre Manager at the National Learning Network in Portlaoise. You're very welcome, Alan. Great to see you.
Good morning. Thanks.
Yeah. Would you like to give us a little bit of background for our viewers that aren't familiar with what the National Learning Network actually does?
Yeah, no problem. So the National Learning Network, we are a national organisation. We're part of the Rehab Group, and National Learning Network are the specific arm of that group designed to help people who would have an additional support need in training, education and working towards securing employment. We would have over 50 centres throughout the country who we'd offer a specialist support service where students can work towards getting their QQI certification. We would then work with other bodies such as our local ETB, colleges, schools, training facilities, apprenticeships, with the view that students can progress, either come to us to seek employment or get work experience, or indeed go to progress on to other courses like the likes that would be run by our funder, the LOETB.
Okay, and in terms of the students, like what's a typical profile of the students that you have there in the centre?
I suppose there's no typical. We would try and work with everybody who has an additional support need. So typically a student would have to be 16 and above to come to us. They would have to have some form of additional support need. Look, we try and move away from the word disability because anybody can have an additional support need. It could be some form of mental health difficulty. It could be someone that might have needed support in secondary school, such as a scribe or a SNA. We would work with any student, I suppose, that comes to us that are looking for it. And if it's something we can't work with them, we'll direct them into another more appropriate service. We would, I suppose, work a lot then with students from kind of mental health background. We would work with people on employer-based training who specifically come to us to try and develop skills to get and secure employment.
Okay.
In our centre then in Portlaoise, we'd work with over 80 students every day. Our capacity is up to 80 students, and then we have about 20 staff here as well. So anybody comes, and we're quite successful in getting people jobs. At the moment, our success rate for people progressing to employment is about 90%.
Yeah, that's very impressive. And in terms of the programs that you run, what type of programs and how long do they take?
Yeah, so at the moment, we have 3 programs on offer. We would have designed these programs specifically with the job market in mind. So we would have a level 3 transition program, which is a 2-year program. It's done to QQI level 3, and that's specifically designed to give students who'd be typically the school leaver age up to maybe mid-20s. Now look, there's no age limit on it, but that's the typical demographic we found. But this gives students an opportunity to come into the world of training and the world of work and to try and sample different jobs and different employment opportunities. That program, as I said, is a 2-year program. We then offer another program at level 4 called Kickstart, which is an 18-month program, which can give a student the option of one of 4 major awards. So you can have retail skills, catering skills, office skills, and general learning. Okay. The focus of the Kickstart program is very specifically to try and give students a building block into either a career path or indeed a further training path. As I mentioned earlier, the Laois Offaly ETB, who are our funder, would have courses then which would be at level 5 and 6, where our courses can directly feed into those.
Okay.
The third course then we offer is employer-based training. That's a 12-month program, again given a QQI level 4. And the specific remit of that program is for students that know that they want to work. So they have a very good understanding of the industry that they want to work in. And they just need the support to get work experience in that area and also come back to the centre 2 days a week to develop specific job skills, but also to increase their certification as well.
Okay. So I'm sure the lockdown really kind of, hindered a lot of what you were doing, and your students are now probably working remotely. Would that be the case?
Yeah, so yes, COVID, like every business, has had I suppose, an impact for us, but it's presented a challenge and an opportunity. My team here have all been working quite well. So we would work, as I said, in conjunction with the Laois Offaly ETB, but also internally we would have a quality and governance department. And what we've tried to do is move towards the blended learning, remote learning approach. So the students are still getting the support that they come here for. So they're still getting access to, let's say, the on-site counsellor, the on-site psychologist, the student liaison officer who will support with work experience and things like that. But then they're also getting the module and assessment delivery as well. So students, and I suppose how it's going to look going forward come September onwards, is that students are going to be coming into the centre for anywhere between 40 to 60% face-to-face time, but then they're also going to be working remotely at home on other modules.
Okay.
So
I'm sure that's been a challenge for you to manage and implement, and for the students to get used to that new learning environment.
yeah, definitely so. I mean, it's a new way of working, and I suppose, look, in the interest of fairness to our students, every one of them has really put their shoulder to the wheel. They've come to training when they can do. We understand that, like every person in life, there's other challenges that go on. There's family life that's needed. There is parents. There might be children in some cases that need support at home. What we've said to our students is, the work is sent out to you guys. We're recording training sessions on the likes of Zoom, MS Teams. Do the work when you can, send it back into us. And as long as the work is coming back to us and the student is supported, we feel that's the job being done. Yeah. All of our students are working at a variety of places towards getting their certification and getting their assessments done. And then any student where there's a difficulty comes up, I'll sit down with the instructor and our program development officer, and we'll try and come up with a specific plan around how do we support that student.
Okay. So in terms of your own staff there, and they're all working remotely, I'm sure as well, that's, how have you found that yourself, managing that end?
Yeah, like that, I suppose, because we're in the education environment, no different than any other educator. It has been a difficult move in terms of, you're used to dealing with students face to face for 30 hours per week, and now we're working at home completely. So yeah, in the first few weeks there was a few difficulties, simple things like IT setup, how to get the instructing staff, and myself included, more familiar with what technology is out there. How do we host Zoom meetings? How do we host MS Team meetings? How can we screen share? How can we start getting assessments back? In the initial run, we were posting work out to students and having them post it back. But as time has moved on, and I suppose the initial thought back in March was this was going to be 2 to 3 weeks. Now we're month 3 into it, with the view that the academic year 21 is going to look the same. We locally and nationally have had to develop new ways of working. So we're now working a lot more on MS Teams. We're working through the specific National Learning Network platform, ENLN, which is cloud-based technology, where students can submit assessments, do work through the online, and the instructors can then give feedback, live feedback for classes, record those, and also get the work backwards and forwards.
Okay. And in terms of
still ongoing work, but look, we're moving in the right direction. I suppose come September or even August, when we're looking at some students coming back.
Like we've all had to learn the Zoom and the Microsoft Teams, and including myself, I'd never even heard of Zoom until the first week of lockdown. But in terms of opportunities, I mean, I know for me, I'm more connected to the network of Chambers Ireland than ever before, and it's definitely as a result of not having to travel to meetings. So really there are definitely those opportunities that I think are definitely an upside to this whole crisis.
Yeah, definitely. And look, we find the same. I suppose some students would come to us specifically because there is a requirement around maybe more social outlets. And in our planning for coming into August, September, what we're trying to prioritize on is, if a student has the capacity to be a bit more remote, or even if they find that that's something that they prefer doing, we're going to encourage them to work remotely. Look, we want to make sure that all of our students and our staff come in the same condition that they go home in, and that they're supported. Where a student needs a bit more social support or needs a bit more work face-to-face with an instructor, we're prioritizing those. But where students are still looking for support in terms of work is being provided to them and the assessments are going on. So yeah, as I said, it is a bit of a learning curve. It's a bit of kind of understanding the individualistic learning styles of each student. Some students have absolutely flourished in this environment. Like even one of our students was able to set up an MS Teams meeting for an instructor in about 5 minutes, whereas it took a team of us kind of a couple of calls to figure out how do you set up a team and present to it. And I suppose those are the unique learnings that we're finding, is that the learning styles of people are vastly different throughout the country. And even locally, some people are absolutely blooming in this. Other people, they need that bit of support, but that's specifically what we're here for as well.
I think that's across the board with everyone. Everyone has a different requirement, and that's the way the world. And if companies can recognise that, it's even better. I know you work locally with some businesses in Laois in terms of placements and training. Would you like to just give us a little insight into that process?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, look, I suppose locally we would like to think that we'd have a good relationship with our businesses. I know we would have done a lot of work with some of the, let's say, the industrial warehousing businesses, like the likes of, and even retail, the likes of Mr. Price, even one of our big customers, and good work experience, McCool Print across town. Another company, Fingleton White, were actually quite good to one of our students in that he was able to continue working at home throughout COVID, which only a handful of students throughout NLN, throughout the country, had that capacity to work at home through COVID. So we've had good support from the businesses locally. I suppose we've had very good relationships with even our closest shop up the road, Downey's, have been quite good to students over the years. The one thing we would say is a lot of our dependency on students is that all of our courses have an element of work experience to them. It's vital in the students' growth, but it also gives them the sense of achievement of what everyone wants, which is getting a job, keeping a job. Some people want full-time jobs, some people want part-time jobs. But with the employment locally and I suppose dealing with businesses locally, that's something that we at NLN are really trying to do. That's where we find the unique selling point of a business like us joining the chamber, is that we're meeting businesses that we probably never knew existed, and conversely businesses that might not know we have existed. I know myself, when I started here, I knew this building as the old NDTI building from my construction days as having a fairly well established kitchen. And I know that a lot of businesses I meet locally, that's the first thing they say, oh, that's the old kitchen, is that still running? And it's like, no, it's been gone about 10 years now. We're specific training and education. But it's to try and get that, I suppose, always looking to establish that relationship better with the businesses locally. And if anyone has, let's say, if there's a particular need, then if someone can address, Jesus, I know a family member, I know friends that might do from a training course from you guys, we're always happy to meet people and talk about that as well.
Yeah, well, look, I think definitely you've given the members now and people watching this an insight as to what you actually do. I know you were at our jobs fair just before lockdown in February, and hopefully you got to meet some of the businesses there. But through this format, we're kind of finding that our members are getting to kind of know each other a little bit better and a bit more of an insight as to what people actually do.
Yes.
We're kind of, it's not doable at the moment to have the face-to-face network meetings. I'm trying to figure out how we can do hybrid events moving forward. But look, for the moment, this is our kind of format and our platform to let people connect. So I suppose if anyone would like to contact you, you have a Facebook page and LinkedIn page, is that right?
Yeah, we do. We have a national NLN Facebook page, and then we'd have a local one as well. So we can be contacted through the website, which is www.nln.ie. There is a referral path to come specifically to Portlaoise, but like that, we have social media right now. So we have a Twitter page, we have a local Portlaoise Facebook page. We're trying with some success to set up the likes of Snapchat pages, things like that, which are a bit more useful as well for quick media outlets. We're constantly trying to develop whatever we can do as well. We have a centre then here. At the moment, my mobile number is the best one to contact, because before we come back to full work, I can be contacted mobile, and what I can do is I can send all of the contact details to be put up on the website. If that's useful, or I can yell out my mobile number if needed.
Your mobile number is probably on the on our directory, membership directory page. I'll check that it is your mobile and update it, so anyone that would like to contact you can find you there. So look, thanks for taking the time this morning, and looking forward to meeting you after. Well, I'm kind of avoiding the word lockdown, and it's all about the reopening. So during the reopening phases, hopefully we can meet up at some point.
That's what we're absolutely. That's what we're 100% committed to working towards as well. Is that by August, September, we will have students coming back to the centre. We will have students who are re-engaged, who have been continuing to do work and their assessments all along, and hopefully welcome everyone back to a new normal, as they say,
Yeah.
trying to keep up that social interaction with students, while also making sure everyone is safe and working towards the new certification that they're going to achieve.
That's great. Thanks very much, Alan.
No problem, Bernie. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.